Hello again, everybody. Last time we did a lesson on the cell cycle, which is the process abbreviatedly shown here, where you have one cell and you make two identical daughter cells. Okay, notice that they are basically clones of the original one. The chromosome number is the same, they look exactly the same, and you end up with two daughter cells that are identical. Okay? Today we're going to work on a process called meiosis, or some people say meiosis. It really doesn't matter which way you want to pronounce it. And I want you to see if you can notice some immediate differences here. So here's the original cell. Here are the daughter cells. Okay, so some things should hit you immediately. First of all, there are 4 cells instead of 2. Okay, and if you look on the inside of the cell, the chromosome number is half. So these guys have half the number of chromosomes that the original cell did. And not only that, each chromosome is different from one another. Okay, so instead of ending up with 2 identical daughter cells, we end up with 4 genetically unique haploid daughter cells, which means they have half the genetic information in them. Okay, so just as a quick overview of meiosis, this is the process that makes sex cells. So for humans, that would be sperm and egg. For plants, that would be pollen and ovules. Okay? Remember, the fancy term for a sex cell is a gamete. You get 4 cells at the end, and they are all genetically different. So this is how, if you can have the same parents and have 4 different children, they all could look similar or they could all look completely different from one another. Okay? And another important term here is haploid. That means the cell has half the number of chromosomes. And guys, I really hope that makes sense to you, because if the goal is for sperm and egg eventually to unite, then half and half make a whole. So it would restore the original diploid condition. Okay, so for humans, we have 23 chromosomes in the female egg, and we have 23 chromosomes in the male sperm. So then when they unite, the original 46 chromosome number is maintained. Okay, so that's meiosis in a nutshell. Now, the reason you end up with 4 and half the number of chromosomes, as you can tell, unlike mitosis, meiosis goes through 2 divisions. So it divides one time and then it divides again. So it's almost like, instead of you taking a piece of paper and ripping it in half and having 2 pieces, you fold it 2 times and then end up with 4 pieces. Okay? So here are your 4. These are all the steps in between that I did not leave in the other picture. Okay? And basically the names of the phases are the same. I just want you to notice that. PMAT, right? And then PMAT. The only difference is there's a first phase and then a second phase where it goes through again. Okay? Everything else is pretty much the same. And I'll put these videos of these animations and stuff up there for you. Okay? Alright, so one of the main things that is important for you to be able to do in terms of North Carolina Department of Public Instruction is they want you to be able to identify the differences and the similarities between mitosis and meiosis. Okay? So it's kind of important that you're able to do that. So, first off, remember what kind of cells it happens in. Mitosis is in any body cell, so that is any cell in your body that you can name except sperm and egg. Okay? Hair, skin, muscle, brain, intestine, etc., etc. Whereas meiosis is only when we create egg cells or sperm cells. And I'll tell you something interesting about meiosis, which is kind of cool. All of the female's eggs are inside of her ovaries before she's even born out of her mother. Okay, whereas males create sperm cells their entire lifetime. So that's kind of an interesting fact for you. Okay, mitosis divides once, meiosis divides 2 times. You get 2 cells at the end of mitosis. You get 4 at the end of meiosis. Daughter cells are identical versus daughter cells have variation with meiosis. You end up with the same number of chromosomes, right? Diploid, 46 for humans. And then meiosis, since they are sex cells, they end up with half the number of chromosomes for humans. So that would be 23 for us. Okay? Now, one thing I want to show you, which actually gives us more genetic variation.
Teachers, please forgive the interruption.
All right, guys, sorry about that announcement coming on. Okay, so this is a phenomenon called crossing over. So basically what happens is during meiosis, for some reason, it's like the chromosomes cross arms or cross legs, and they are very fragile. So then what they end up doing is breaking and then repairing themselves. And then you notice what was originally intended to be on this chromosome ends up on this one, and the one that was intended to be here ends up over here, okay? Guys, this is not like a mutation or anything wrong with the person. It just means that some of the genes can change places on the chromosome, okay? So that means it just gives you more variation. It makes all the sperm different from one another. It makes all the eggs different from one another. Okay, and this happens during prophase, and it is just a natural phenomenon that gives genetic variation. Okay, and guys, remember, in terms of evolution, genetic variation is very important. Okay, we want things to be different than one another because that might give them a slight advantage, right, in terms of evolution. So crossing over is a thing of variation only in meiosis. This does not happen in mitosis, ever. Okay? And I'll give you this video also. I'll put the link up there. Okay, so just a couple more slides for today, guys. Haploid and diploid. This is kind of two important terms on the EOC. Haploid, it just sounds like half to me. Okay, so anytime you're talking about a haploid cell, it has to be sperm or egg. Any sex cell. They have half the number of chromosomes, again, with the goal of half and half making a whole. Okay, diploid means it has a full set of chromosomes. All cells in your body are like that except sperm and egg. All right, so here's your example. You've got sperm and egg over here, each having half, with the goal of them joining. Then the full number is restored. And then any other cell, this is like a nerve cell here, would have 46 chromosomes inside of that nucleus. So this is considered diploid. Okay? All right, so guys, we're not going to do all of these, but I just want to show you actually how simple this is. Okay? So if you would do this with me, let's just highlight the ones that we know go together. Okay? So as an example, a gamete is a sex cell, correct? So sex cells are sperm and egg, all right? And then you also remember they are haploid, which means they would be in. Okay, so all of these columns that are yellow should have the same number in it, all right? Now, let's go to the other one. A body cell is anything other than sperm or egg. They are always diploid, which is 2N, right? And the 2 comes from, you get one set from mom and one set from dad. Okay, so now all you have to do is read the scenario and put your number in the correct spot, okay? So let's look at number 1. A gamete of a housefly has 6 chromosomes, okay? Well, we have a word here that we can use over here. So I'm going to take my 6, come on, and put it here, all right? Now, as simple as this is, guys, that means I need a 6 everywhere I have a yellow column. Okay, so that means a haploid cell will have 6 chromosomes. A sperm would have 6 chromosomes. An egg would have 6 chromosomes. And the N would be 6. Okay, so then if you want help doing the math, 2 times N would be this number. So 2 times 6 would end up being 12. Okay, so then 12 belongs in all the purple columns. Okay, so I've seen, I've noticed that there are actually times where they will get you to figure out these numbers. Okay, so just remember, sex cells always have half. Other body cells will have the full number, okay? Now let's just look at number 2. We're not going to do this one, but you see how this one says a leaf cell has 20 chromosomes? Okay, well a leaf has nothing to do with the sperm and egg. So that tells me that 20 is going to go in a body cell, okay? And then the sex cell would have 10, 10, 20, 10, 10, 10, 20, okay? So all you have to do is worry about either taking half or multiplying it by 2. It will never be by 3, 4, any other number like that. Okay? All right, so guys, that's where I wanted to end the discussion for today on meiosis. If you could give it some practice, and then tomorrow we'll do an activity where you're comparing mitosis and meiosis. Okay? Hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions for me, I'm always an email or a phone call away. Thank you.